Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Q Live.
Live.
It is live.
Live.
I thought it was Q Live for the longest time.
You know what? They really do go together.
Yeah. Yeah. Q Live.
If you're alive, you're living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Bill Selleck. I'm Director of Technology at Hillbrook School. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all day. Pronouns are he and him, and I'm here with the Communications Committee of Q.
Wow, that's
we put on
pretty good.
Q Live.
That's beautiful.
And guess who I happened upon today?
Who?
You.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
Is being introduced.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I was very excited about who you came across.
Yeah, I know. Well,
all right.
This is why they're
very
excited
good.
to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Do you know Glenn?
I do.
I'm talking to them.
Oh.
I can talk to Rose.
Oh, yeah, well, there you
Glenn?
go. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, Glenn, who are you? Tell us who you are.
Glen Warren. I am. I am a concern to many, but I'm also my job. I'm the director of literacies, outreach, and libraries. Some of you have forgotten what libraries are, but they are still very important for the Encinitas Union School District, which makes me the LOL director.
Oh, that's what that meant.
I am the LOL director. My hope.
You said that earlier. And
I'm the LOL director, and my hope is that's official, by the way. And my hope is that those letters will turn into the Love of Learning director, and I think that has almost come home. My title might actually change by next year to that.
Nice. Oh, I love that so much. So there's two big things we're going to talk about, and we're going to weave them together with
easy.
a great transition.
Okay.
California Student Media Festival.
Oh, it's been around 55 years.
Yes. And Meet the Authors.
Oh, that's been around for a shorter period of time, but it's awesome.
Yes. So you helped kickstart Meet the Authors.
Well, you want me to talk to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would love to speak to that. Meet the Authors was a brainchild that I came up with a few years ago. You know, I love books. I think books are beautiful. And, you know, it's funny, in a technology kind of rich conference, who knew that there's so many of the members of Q that are also authors of books? And so as a librarian, my thought was, why don't we showcase these authors and remind everybody that books still matter, you see? So anyway, so I thought, okay, let's do that. And it was an instant love fest, just instant. And this year was, I think, one of the best ever. We had quite a few authors this year. It is online, it is recorded, but it's just wonderful to see people looking at their own practice and their own journey in education and saying, you know what, I'm going to stop long enough to write a book and put myself out there and share my life, my experience with those that would care to read it. And I'm so impressed with people that are willing to do that.
Yeah, any stories that people shared?
Yeah, actually, yes. We had quite a few of the authors this year. The one thing that I've been noticing in this year and previous years, each of the authors had a very similar foundation by which they were approaching it, their writing. One was, it's intensely personal for their own journey. Two, another commonality with all the books that were they have been written here this year, they were talking about, all of them had to do with this intense desire to shift from just the learner or just learning only to a partnership with the learner in the classrooms for what some would call student agency, or student empowerment, or personalized learning, or whatever label you want to put on it. But it was just great to see that the shift from the teacher doing all the heavy lifting to the class or the group of students co-constructing, co-authoring, co-making, you might say, the learning in the classroom, which, by the way, is way, way lighter for the teacher to do it that way than to have to do the whole lift by themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they need the students. Like, the students are needed.
Yes.
So all of that was part of it. Like, one of the books was Make Learning Magical. That was one of and that was the premise of that. The Evolving Learner from Lainey Rawl, who did that. It was pretty amazing. And her Evolving Learner, that was a big deal. So many of the books just had that kind of piece. Well, hello.
Yeah.
This is called love right there.
Hey, Terry, we're live. We're on Q Live right now. You want to say hi?
I'm sorry?
We're on Q Live.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry. This is
Hello,
what Q's
hi.
about.
Hi.
Imperial County Office Ed.
Woo-hoo.
Pretty amazing place.
In the house.
Is Todd still in?
Todd is
God
gonna,
bless that brother.
Todd's going to have 4 more years.
That's great. And then he's going to retire.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll find out.
Great. Have a
Good to
good
see you.
one.
You bet.
Good to see you.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Co-creating with
Yes.
students.
We're
That's
outside
something
my mom's back there.
I've been really thinking about in the last
Co-partnering,
couple
co-creating.
years.
Yeah.
You know, my role as a tech director and like co-creating is something that's really started to coalesce into like a thing.
Good.
That feels like my style with students, with the tech department,
Yep.
with teachers, colleagues, other
Well, then you're in it
administrators.
together,
Yeah.
as
And there's
opposed
that-
to here's my product for you.
Yeah. I heard a friend when she was reflecting back to me, John Powell out of UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about having to move past inclusivity. That just kind of gets you there. But it's actually about belonging. And he had a graphic, and so belonging's in the middle, and kind of the wheels around it. One of those, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, yes. And it is co-create.
Yes, and I think it's a big shift for people because
Yeah.
how can you say to a teacher that, or for those of us who are, so many of us have been suffering from so many things, like
Yes.
for example, the COVID season and being isolated. The constant having to shift, the constant having to change.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many educators I've talked to that had like, when's my retirement? I mean, so many are just, please.
Done.
Yeah. And that's a symptom. But you add to that this idea that I got to focus on standards. The standards focus has been such a scourge. I call it post-traumatic standards disorder, PTSD. So many teachers have it because if you focus on standards first, then you're limiting the learning. You're limiting it to the standards. If you focus on the student first,
relationship.
Now look, some people think that it's binary. It's not binary.
No.
It's about emphasis. If the emphasis is on the wrong syllable, the word comes out wrong. So if you put the emphasis on standards, you already blew it. And many times, if we put the focus on the student, what's amazing is, okay, perhaps the student can help me co-create the curriculum, and that sounds scary,
Yeah.
but it isn't. It isn't. What we
amazing.
what we tried to do in our district, and this is not related to either of these topics, but they indirectly. We did learn that there are just three things, simple, like 3 chords. To like a guitar, like you learn 3 chords.
Yeah.
You can play blues with each other,
Yeah,
right?
play a G, C, and
Yeah, you
D,
play. That's
you've got
exactly
them all.
that. Then you're good, and
Yeah.
you can play with no matter how skilled the musician is.
Yeah.
The 3 things are student interest, student questions, and student connections. And let me spell that out. If you go into a classroom and you can see what matters to the students visible, you're in a good place. But that's not good enough. You also have to see what are the students asking questions about.
Yeah.
Now that generally is never anywhere in a class to be seen,
Right.
because we're not interested in the questions. We're only interested in the finished products that we can display. And that's really problematic because questions are the hunger of learning. And right now, so we keep making better food, but there's no hunger. Oh, let's improve our food. But if the students are, so imagine this, the students that formulate questions about the topic that matters to them and matters to the teacher, that becomes the genesis of the co-creating of learning. Because now the students care about that question. And that's genuine interest.
Yeah.
It takes them in the direction. And then when they can relate it to their own lives, and if you can see that on the board, like for example, a kid who is studying guitar is somehow connecting that to mathematics, and you see that on how they made that connection. It's amazing. I mean, we had one group of girls that was absolutely interested in, hair braiding. Now, that does not sound like anything in the standards, right? But hair braiding was up there, and then they were reading the Diary of Anne Frank. And then they wondered what were the hairstyles during Anne Frank's time.
Yeah.
And then they went to the Holocaust Museum,
Oh, wow.
and then they saw in the display a small box of braided hair.
Oh.
And for those students, if they had not gone through that that connection piece that they made,
Yeah.
that learning experience would have been, they wouldn't even know they missed that learning experience.
Yeah.
So this is the beauty and the power of students co-creating. And I think that's part of the books that we in our meet the authors. I think many of the books that they were sharing today had that premise somewhere embedded.
Yeah. Hey, James.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, and what I love about what you're saying and what I'm hearing from that is out of the research that John Pell's doing out of UC Berkeley, is that co-creation leads to belonging, and that is such a deep foundational need that we have as humans.
Yes.
And if you get that, I think
Agreed.
that's what we're missing.
Well, I think I would say both of those are right. I would maybe suggest that belonging precedes co-creation. And what I mean by that is the way I think the super big, we don't talk about this very often, but I think the super magic that we bring to the classroom is that we love our students. And how do we love them appropriately? How do we do that? Well, faith and hope. What do you believe about your students' value right now? Not when they produce something, but before they ever produce anything.
Yeah.
What do you believe about their value today in your class? And what's your hope for them for the future? If you bring that to the equation first, then I believe the co-creation piece and all that follows, because now you're building on something you believe in.
You got a high five coming.
How are
Good
you?
to see you.
I love it. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense.
Like what if you know that I care about you and believe in you before we ever start anything?
I'm in.
Right. Now let's co-create.
Right.
As opposed to let's co-create and now I'll believe in it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like you almost have to earn it.
Yeah.
And it's like no. Somebody said trust is earned. I don't believe that.
No.
Trust is not earned. Trust is a gift that you give to people, and then distrust is something you earned.
Yeah. All right. So we're going a little long, but we have to.
Sorry.
No. There's also no time limit, but let's give a shout to California Student.
Oh my
Media
gosh!
Festival.
Talk about an opportunity for students to own their learning. The California Student Media Festival is the oldest student media festival anywhere in the state. It started 55 years ago. It might be the oldest in the country. We have never asked anybody to pay anything to be part of this thing. And we give out money every year. And it's for elementary and secondary. So there's two different categories. Classrooms or students that win, their classroom gets somewhere between $500 and $1,000 for their win. And we give 18 of these out each year.
Yeah.
So that's a heck of a lot of money that we're giving out each year, just because we try to encourage students. And if you go to mediafestival.org, you will see a library of student videos and student media, not just videos, but also photography and poetry and 3D printing and that kind of thing, going back 12 years on the website.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful, and it's free, and why not?
Yeah.
And your class could actually maybe collect something to get better equipment for whatever you're doing.
I love that. Yeah. My I remember the last year I was in my classroom 8 years ago. Our second graders won an award.
Well, your district is primed to do this. I hope you jump in this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody's doing something.
I know.
They might as well get some credit for it.
Yeah, it's a great way also, there's so many teachers that are doing great things and are feeling kind of isolated.
Well, this is a great way to
Don't have the
connect.
resources.
That's right.
It's a great way to connect. It's a great way to get some good lighting.
That's right.
Lighting's really the key to video.
That's right.
Because what do you have without lighting?
Right. That's true. And also audio.
Yeah.
Right. And again, we tried to say we might actually have, we had a winner last year they had written a poem about not being silent.
Yeah.
And they presented their poem in a video format. They weren't judged on video. They were judged on the fact that they created this beautiful poem.
Yeah.
So they won for poetry.
Yeah. Oh, that's
not
great.
just film. It's all whatever media, whatever kind of media you want. Somebody said, "Well, can we do a podcast?" Yes. Could we do a song? Yes. Can we do a website that we present? Yes. A news show? Sure. You name it.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we've got mediafestival.org.
Yep.
Meet the authors. It's recorded.
That's right. We're going to be doing shows starting in April off this, that there will be a little longer than the 3 minutes we got for each author.
Yeah.
And Lainey Rawl is going to be the first author.
Oh, great.
So
Nice.
that'll be in April.
Nice. So how do people find you, Glenn? How do you connect?
Well, for me, it's Warren Media, Twitter. So Warren Media, and that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. So, and then of course the Student Media Festival online. That's mediafestival.org.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for joining
Pleasure.
us. Thank you, all of you. I will chicken wing you.
Yep, there you go.
As I hit stop recording. By the way, we're using StreamYard for this. Tell me this isn't like the cleanest, easiest thing.
That is very cool.
so great.
Yeah, I got to hear more
Yeah.
about this. I think this might be something we should be seeing more in education.
Yeah, it should. All right. Thanks for joining us again for Q Live.